Well, another week, another layback with Betfair. I'm Tom Haylock with Luke White. How are you, Waddy?
Good.
I should have called you Woody.
Thanks. Oh, yeah. Cheers, champ. No, I'm energised. Last week, the listeners, they might have thought I was a little flat, but
I had to prod you a couple of times to keep you awake last week.
This week.
You're up and about?
Waiting for you to come pick me up. I had the heavy metal in the earphones.
No Celine Dion?
No. We've got the Bull Trek coming up.
Yes.
It's probably a good time on air to say shotgun not driving home.
Yeah.
The merch, have a look at this. The Gucci of punting merch, the Betfair scarves. So have a look out for this if you're at the Bull. We might have a little surprise down at the Bull maybe.
We always have surprises. There's plenty going on.
You'll
be signing a few autographs down there?
No, not at all. You'll see me on the hill with a beer in hand. Come say g'day. Last week, the streak stays alive.
16 in a row, I think.
100%. Let's take a look back now and see how we went. Morphettville race 8, Bacchanalia. I'm laying it.
Yeah, right.
Price too short for me, Tom.
To be short, too short for me. To be short, Daniel Moore on Philip Stokes, but I think he's too short. He'll lead, more pressure here, so I'm against To Be Sure.
When did you get funny?
Bellow Bow is the other lay. I'm laying Bellow Bow. I'm really concerned about the barrier. Brendan McCall, Blinker's first time worries me, so I think he's
put a price cap on it.
I think he's too short. $3.50. I will lay him at.
I think we now decided that trekking may no longer be a racehorse. What do you think?
Oh, I said this last week, mate. Doesn't like going past horses. He takes the line okay, but he doesn't. He's a pack chaser now. He's ready for retirement. But it is his grand final in the Goodwood, I would have thought. So he'll be peaking again there. But we did well with our lays last week. This week we've got coming up listed in group racing at Morphettville. We've got the Group 1 as well. We've got Hawkesbury, interesting track. Standalone meeting at Hawkesbury. We've got your wash up. I can't wait for all that. I want to hear what you have to say about what's in the lay bin this week, mate.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
I've got a plethora of things.
We've got a bit of an audience here today, and they've seen how angry you've been this morning. So hit us.
Well,
what are you going to put in the lay bin?
You champed me earlier in the program, and I'll tell you what. Did you or did you not call the waitress Muscles at dinner on Monday night?
I did. I did call her Muscles. She was polite enough to put my phone on the charger for me. It was going flat.
So you said, thanks, Muscles.
Thanks, Muscles.
You're in the lay bin for that. You put me in the lay bin for Wordle last week, and I got random guys texting me their Wordle scores now, so that's great.
There you
Thanks
go.
for that.
These are the type of people you hang with now.
Hawkesbury camera angle, that's in the lay bin. We'll get that out of the way early because we'll no doubt whinge about it next week. It's in the lay bin. Awful for in-play punters too, I would have thought.
It actually is. On a serious note, can we please fix the Hawkesbury camera angle? There's 3 or 4 tracks around. All you got to do is just pull the camera up, just up a little bit, and we'll probably get a better view. Betting in place hard there, leave lay traps.
Footy Monday, I've got a couple more. I'm still going. I'm just warming up, mate.
About 35 minutes of the show, hurry up.
People that sit next to you at the footy and don't know the rules, that's in the lay bin. People that ask you all day about the rules, what's going on.
That's the type of bloke you are. You don't like to share the great game and teach people like I did. I had to explain the rules. For a half and then went missing to the bar for a while.
While we're on that, wearing other teams' kits when your team's not playing.
Yeah, that's bad.
You got you rocking around in the Eagles kit on Monday.
No, I wasn't. That is a lie, but that's pretty bad. We normally don't have this many things to put in there, but...
Been a big week.
It has, but a couple of things I witnessed during the week.
Oh, gosh.
Talking on your phone when you're at the counter buying something.
Yep.
You're a deadbeat. And the other thing as well, I actually put this on Twitter, and I just had to bring it up again because it happened last night. You wouldn't believe what happened to me last night.
That's in the lay.
But on Twitter, I put something up along the lines, and it went viral. And I said, if you've got a mobile number in Australia and you give it out in any other format than 4 numbers, 3 numbers, 3 numbers, you are a psychopath.
Yep.
Last night I saw two
really
people...
abusing everyone today.
Last night I saw 2 people give each other their numbers doing it in like 2-digit format.
Oh, jeez.
Not on. Bad. In the bin.
Okay.
But that's enough for the bin. Let's rip
that
in
enough?
here. Yeah.
All right. Let's head to Morphettville. We've got some group racing. Good 4. Shower or 2. 19 degrees. Rail in the true position at Morphettville. It's a big day. I can't wait to get there for the Goodwood. Start off with the Nishki Stakes. Whitey, 1,400 metres for the 3-year-olds. Elation is favourite. You're keen to back him.
Yes. I don't really know about what's happening. I'm not a huge Morphettville punter, right? But we've got...
Don't say that now.
We've got 3 or 4 races, though, on the Parks track.
Yeah, that should be in the lay bin. What's
And
going on there?
Yeah, so I'm really quite confused. But anyway, race 4, Elation. So You Think, Colt, was super impressive first up.
And this is on the Parks track.
This is on the Parks track. SP'd in his maiden at $1.40. Won in good fashion. Visually was impressive, but thought it might have been one of those ones that TB pumps up, like the call. So I went back and had a look at it. The data backed it up, running the fastest last 600, 400 and 200 of the whole meeting, if you don't mind. Price and Kent, astute trainers of 2-year-olds. So what we saw first up, I'm expecting a lot of good natural improvement. Winning first up in that fashion over 1,400 is a good sign. Like, you've got a good horse there. The overall figure obviously wasn't even as good as it could be because he had his head on the chest for like the last 100 metres at Pakenham. Zara Sticks after the first up win. Barrier 1, slight concern because it could be 3 back to pegs and requiring some luck. But I think we've got a quality colt here. The price is right about... It's if it gets out at the moment on Betfair, it's $2.88 to $2.94. Hopefully we get $3 plus. And I think the 2 McAvoy runners are the main dangers. But Elation here is a massive chance, especially if we can get $3 plus.
Another poor argument from you, mate. I have my notes say, Whitey will say around the fastest 600, 400 and 200 of the day last start. But, Whitey, they went 12.4 lengths slower to the 600 there. They absolutely walked. It was set up for a sprint home. They did that. It was a $35,000 maiden at Pakenham in an 8-horse field. This is a completely different grade of race. Up against Asymmetrical, smart filly, has upside, she's fit. She comes into this in a close second in the Bendigo Guineas. She's a nice type. Star of Chaos was good in a strong Caulfield race last start. You got Perceptive, who's rock hard fit. You got Defining off 2 strong wins as well, who maps well as well. So I can't take Elation at the price, about that 288 mark in the Nitschke Stakes, and I'm happy to be against him at that price, Whitey.
Fair enough.
Yep. All right, let's head to the Breeders' Stakes. This is See You in Heaven, and I'm with her. 1,200 metre race, $3 on Betfair. You can lay her at about that $3.40 mark.
You're not with her. You're laying.
I'm laying her. I'm laying. I'm with her. I'm going first, but I'm laying her. See You in Heaven. She had the best figures in the race and was strong home last start, but... First try 1,200, different story here, so that's a different gravy. That has to be the query for her. She's definitely a toughest ask to date. Where does she get to from barrier 9? Does she push forward? I don't know if she's got the speed to push forward, but there's not much speed in the race. So what do they do? Do they ask her to go forward from that wide barrier, and does she overdo it a little bit up to the 1,200 first time and find a couple stronger late? That's a query for me. She's a pretty hard horse to knock, Whitey, but... Again, there's a couple of horses that I've got a bit of time for. Twin Start, won well on debut, trialled really well since, put away, save for a race like this, I would have thought. Eye the Eagle wasn't beaten far in a listed race last time. We'll take plenty of improvement off the back of that. And La Laguna from a good stable comes into it as well. So $3 looks skinny enough for See You in Heaven up to the 1,200 first time, Whitey, but you're with her.
Okay, well, happy for you to lay it. I felt like the first start of that argument was just absolute jargon that you made up, to be honest. I don't even think you've looked at this properly. 2-year-old Divine Prophet filly won first up in a Group 3 at Flemington, then went for a spell. She copped a check early there, but still screwed in, got the job done. Like to see that. She then came back at Morphettville, SP'd odds on in the Cinderella Stakes. I think that's a forgive. She was a bit tardy at the start, allowed Bistro to get way too far ahead. And burnt the punters. But a few weeks later, she comes out with the exact same conditions. Bistro in the race again. Runs a super race to smash Bistro, Wee Nessie and H2O. They're all like black type runners, I would imagine. The step up to 1,200 looks a key because she can be tardy out of the gates and you don't want to get her too far back. But she gets every chance to run over them here then out to the 1,200. I think that
slow
suits.
Speed, she doesn't.
Now, I thought of the Danger's Eye of the Eagle. That was the one that I marked second. That could be the one to step up. See You in Heaven. Best horse in the race, though, and goes on top for me.
Yeah, don't like the setup for her from that barrier. Let's move on to the Chairman Stakes, 2,000 metres, Group 3. Harley Movin', he's favourite here, 3:30. I'm keen to back him. What more can this horse do, Whitey? Now, he's been exceptional. He's run exceptional splits in his last 3 runs, savaging the line in all of them. In all 3 previous runs, he's run the fastest 200 metres of the event. In 5 of the last 6 races, he's run the fastest last 200. 3 back, he ran 22.26 final 400 home. It was the fastest on the entire program, which is superb effort over a mile. Last start, he clearly ran the fastest final 200 metres of the race again. His last 400, 22.66, was the second fastest the entire day. Again, amazing over 1,400 metres. He won by 4 lengths, demolished his rival, showed a brilliant turn of foot. He was eased up on the line, still ran good time, good splits, good data. Gives the impression he'll eat 2,000 metres now. Has a great grounding for this. He's been up a while, but he's rock hard fit, which I love. Stable, going at 80% strike rate and plus 29.4% profit on turnover last 100 runners. You said yesterday when you were doing the form, he might win the Melbourne Cup. And now you're going to tell me you're against him.
Yeah, that was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but thanks for doing that. Worth mentioning here, so average odds opened up $3.10. We're looking around the $3.50 mark on Betfair early on Thursday. I'm a fan of this fella. He's actually had my cash the last 2 starts. Come through the grade super. He's been running awesome splits, like you said, and now I've got to try and find a way to get him beat. Isn't easy. Yeah, it isn't easy. He obviously loves Morphettville, but this is the furthest he's gone. That argument, you can be against it, like you said. He has gapped others on his previous runs, and he's been, running some decent sectionals late as well. However, it's a 3-year-old who's deep into the prep, up to 2,000 metres for the first time. Some type of question mark for me. Yep. They do have to be good to do that. I think he is good, though. He's a massive chance. I thought of those, though, that I wouldn't be surprised. I might give him a test over 2,000 metres. Could be Gundeck, T Waters, and even Saint Tropez. I thought they could all probably run a solid race here. The other knock could be Barrier 15. Whilst I don't necessarily think it's a huge knock with his run style, I do think, going back to this 3-year-old 2,000 metres, you don't want to see him 3 or 4 wide the trip and have an issue late. So that could be a small knock.
That's the biggest query for mine, because he had the run of the race last start. He had that suck run on the fence. Now he goes from inside to wide. It's just a different setup.
Yep. So a small knock, but I think it's a really good horse. It's just whether, this is one step too far, but we'll find out and we'll see what the price does late.
Yep, keep going. As I said, I'm with Harley moving there. My Whisper is favourite in the Group 1 Australasian Oaks 2,000 metres, 3-year-old filly race. She's $5.50, pretty open race. You're against her at the price, mate?
I know I am. Average fixed odds, $4.80 opening up. Betfair $5.50 to $5.80 though. Frankel filly, who hasn't done a heap wrong, so it's hard to find a heap of knocks. This prep worked through the grades and distances again beautifully. She's been winning well, but this is now the hardest test to date. She actually runs into a few group performers here, so this sets up to be a great race, I think. I was ripping through it trying to find some knocks, but it's very hard to knock the data she's put up. In the last 4 races, she's ran the fastest last 200 of the day in 3 of them, and second in the other one. So she's got to turn a foot late, which is something you always want to see. Last start, she shifted out and stomped on Mac and Cheese. So I'm looking forward to seeing those two both go head-to-head if Mac and Cheese gets a clear run. Price is interesting because whilst I'm making a lay argument, I thought $6, if on the exchange, is way too much of a risk to lay. I'd have to see a firm quite a fair bit to be interested in laying her at that price. The small knocks I could find, one is the map. It looks quite messy back there. She could be backing in the ruck trying to get out late when a Group 1 winner like El Patroness is up on the speed and often gone on the corner. The other one in the race that I thought looked a real Oaks type is this Marmunia, who I liked from the Cummings stable last week. They look some dangers, but yeah, the price, I think, if you're getting $6 on the fair, it's more than fair. I couldn't launch into laying at those sort of odds.
Yep. Well, I'm with her. Like Harley Mervyn in the previous, what more can this horse do? She's a strong daughter of Frankel, as you said. She ran brilliant sectionals last start over the 1,800 metres. It was the second fastest final 200 metres of the day there, only betted by a horse over in the 1,100 metre race. So she's savaging the line. Stable going at 18% strike rate, 24.8% profit on turnover from their last 100 starts. Goes from Will Price to Jamie Carr as well. Big jockey change. She ticks a lot of boxes. I couldn't possibly lay her at that 580 mark, mate. So my Whisper on top for me. Let's head to the listed City of Adelaide handicap, 1,400 metres.
Cool.
Back on the Parks track here, mate, for race 8. Morvada is favourite here, and you're with him.
I'm with him because you threw it to me.
No.
Handballed it to me over the desk, hiding behind the bushes in the corner in the office you were, and you threw it to me and you said, there's no way this can be favourite. You back him. So here we are, an 8-year-old gelding who hasn't won since Adam and Eve had a punters club. Great. I've got to make a back argument. Terrific. He may not have won, but he's run some good races, mate. Jamie Carr goes on board, and he's a front runner, so I think that's in the price as we speak. So what are we? 440 average odds fixed, but it's 530 to 570 on Betfair, and joint with Royal Mile or Royal Millie, whatever they call it. Well, I actually think they do pronounce it differently sometimes. He's run third to Kiss on All Four Cheeks and second to Corner Pocket this print. So that's nothing to sneeze at in a race like this. He just hates going over the line first. He likes a good fast track. Jamie's on board. He'll be up on speed. She's a brilliant... We know how good she is at timing these sort of races. He's a track and distance specialist. So I think he'll be in it for 1,350 of the 1,400 metres.
Yep.
This might be a good one if you're backing. If you get $6, maybe leave a lay trap at $1.50 just in case he gets run over early.
That's not a bad idea, actually, because it will be competitive. But this is a horse that's had one win in 2 years, Whitey. You can't possibly be confident of him favourite. He's 1 from his last 22. He's 0 from his last 11. He comes up favourite here. Groundswell beat him home last year's race, and his form isn't even as good this year. So it looks way too short for me. Jamie Carr goes on. That's a positive, but Jamie Carr's always factored into the market. She's actually going at negative 26% profit on turnover in the last 6 months. So she's always well found. Zoyce beat him last start, meets him at level weights. Way too short for me for a horse that doesn't win. I've got Royal Mile favourite, and happy to be with Royal Mile there and against Morvada in the listed City of Adelaide. Now it's time for the wash-up, Whitey. We'll bring that up. What have you got for us this week, mate?
Oh, where's my notes? I'm all over the place.
You are.
What have I got? So the wash up this week, first headline is all aboard. So I thought I'd touch base on some genuine goes on the weekend.
Yes.
Some big firmers that got absolutely whacked. One of the roughies I tipped on the show last week, Extreme Flight, in one of the Adelaide features, was $20 into $8.60. So I had a $20 pre-play high. It firmed 22% in the last 3 minutes. They absolutely smashed it. Copped a bad in-play run though, but that was the biggest goal of the day that I could find. We also mentioned, don't want to, just be experts now, it's all run and done, but we did actually mention and agree that Grand Slam should have been favourite against Ain't No Deal Done, and it was $2.82 into $1.95. So some people, when we talk about movements on the exchange, something that goes from 10s to 6s, that's not as significant as a favourite that firms 30% like that.
Huge. It's a lot of money too.
So Ain't No Deal Done, that's drifted. Grand Slam has won accordingly after firming 30% in those last few minutes. Next one, No Love, No Money. Horses that were just completely unwanted. Horses that were cast in betting. Horses that the layers just wanted to take on, Tom.
What have we got for us,
That's what the show's all about.
Yep.
At Caulfield, the main one to mention was Adele Amour, who opened their shoulders against and said, take me on. Now, I've got a little rant here.
Oh, here we go.
I don't want
another one.
But I don't want people to take it personally.
You've abused everyone at the start of the show.
But if you're betting fixed odds and you're not checking Betfair, you're lazy. You're a lazy punter.
Yep, people are lazy.
You really are a lazy punter.
Look down the camera and say that. Yep.
But seriously though, you know what I mean? I always say to people all the time, sitting in the pub and you're taking $5 fixed and you check the exchange, it's $8 or $9.
It's drifting on fixed odds too at that point.
So do you not like money?
Get Betfair Live up.
Get Betfair Live up. It drifted 60%, if you don't mind, Tom, in the last 3 minutes. It was showing $5.50 on the tote and got out to $11 on Betfair.
Amazing.
So absolutely none. Randwick Race 8, they took on Ting Tong.
Yes.
That horse was $8.20 out to $15 in the last 3 minutes. That's a 64% drift. That's as unwanted as they come. My next one, Travel Calm. You don't know what Travel Calm is, but if you ever had car sickness or seasickness or something, it's a tablet. That's what it's for. I don't really take it, but I've seen it. Around 80 horses, it was, around the country on Saturday, Tom, traded odds on in the run and lost. 55 of them SP'd in single figures. So the pointy end of the market. So what I'm trying to do is help people not have as many sick beats, right? So leave lay traps at low odds if you've backed horses. to avoid those sick beats, and green book yourself or reduce your liability. Change the way you think about your betting.
Love it. And hit us up as well. Ask us questions. We've all got Twitter. We've
like
got email
questions.
addresses. Hit us up with any questions you may have on the social media. Well done, Whitey. It wasn't your best or most creative names, but it was a good segment. Well done.
Spat some absolute truth there.
Yes, well done.
Just let me sip my coffee.
Hawkesbury. Let's head to Hawkesbury. You can sip your coffee as much as you want. Soft 7, rain around. A few showers. There's a shock for Sydney. 27 degrees though. That's why they say the weather's so good. But 27 means nothing when it's pouring. We might be a soft 7. Who knows what happens on the day? But let's head to Hawkesbury. The Hawkesbury Gold Rush. 1,100 metres. Malkovich is the firm favourite here, and I think he's a great bet, Whitey. I'm looking forward to your lay argument because what more can he do? He came out and won trial by 8.5 lengths. I know he was disappointing last start, but he looks the clear leader here. He's had a freshen up. It was a freshen up. It was a superb trial win. Freshen up. Superb trial win. Just dominated. I know he generally does that because he's just such a good speed horse. But back on a firmer footing is the key. He was fantastic in an Oakley Plate before that. Before the Galaxy failure on the bog track. He's a winner at Hawkesbury. He ticks so many boxes here, and I think he's a horse to beat. And I'm happy to take the $2.80 about Malkovich and the Gold Rush.
Yeah, fair enough. Don't want to get splinters and sit on the fence, but it's also, this was a hard one to lay. I think we lob around a soft 6, like you said. That's what I'm targeting for, but preparing for the worst. So if I turn on the TV and it's raining cats and dogs, I'm going to focus on the cheapest product on the exchange, and that's the Adelaide Racing. Not my favourite track in the country to bet at. I don't know if it's just the track or the camera angle or whatever.
I think you're the only one there, just quietly.
But there's 10 races, Tom. So that means there's a lot of lay opportunities, doesn't there? I can see why Malkovich is favourite, though. Brings the A-grade form, comes down in grade here. He wins the Bob Hoisted in Melbourne before going to the Galaxy, where it lost a plate, though, there, and it was slow out. Does have a little bit of a habit, though, of doing that, blundering at the start when looking at past runs. He trialled well, but he's a good trial horse, and you know that.
Yep.
He always trials well. I couldn't find a heaps of knocks because track conditions suit, and he's very good on speed horse. I thought, can 11-11 beat him? They bet him last time when they met over 1,000, but I'm not sure first up with 61 kegs that is going to be his profile. If there was something to beat it, I would suggest it would be Tycoonist, who was in amazing form last prep at the Millions when running second to Isotope. It ran the fastest last 600 and 200 secs of that meeting, and the geldings trialled real well. So it lost in protest, didn't it, first up last start. So I'd be saving it all day. If I'm a Malkovich backer, this is the one that I would want to save on. I think no huge knocks. If you're getting $3, what have we got now? $2.98's the lay price. If you're around $3, I think you've fair shopping, but I'm going to cheer the Tycoonist.
There you go. My play would probably be back Malkovich, save Tycoonist there. Don't lose if Tycoonist wins. But Malkovich, clearly the horse to beat. Let's head to the Hawkesbury Guineas. Mr. Mozart is favourite on the back of a good performance last start, $3.20. Whitey, you're with him. Yeah,
really easy to make a back argument for this horse. Horse that's really hit some top form here and has enjoyed coming to Sydney. 2 back, he won the Group 2 Far Lap on a heavy where he ran the fastest last 400 and 200 of the whole meeting and gapped a horse like Fangirl and Character. Last start he stayed at the 1500 in the Group 3, won Super when beating our Playboy. Our Playboy's now gone on to win again. In both those starts, Pike rode him. Even though he's top weight, he's not weighted badly. Considering like a horse like Coast Watch carries the same, and he smashed that last start. You've got a tough on-speed horse. I really like the way that when horses have approached him, come up to him last couple of starts, he's kicked off and gone again. Geez, he's a good-looking horse, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not a bad-looking horse. So Schnitzel.
Pikey, sticking at the moment, he's riding Super.
He's winning straps in Sydney.
Winning strike rate at 19% and 20% profit on turnover his last 100 rides. So Pikey's a good bet at the moment. Of the dangers, I thought Villana could be one, has a good profile here, but Mr. Mozart is clearly on top for me. It's the class horse of the race. Yeah, you made a really good point about the weights. It's 101 handicap rating. He's got the same weight as Coast Watch, who's 92. So he's actually really well off. Subterranean's a 73 handicap rater, and he's got 1 kilo less. So
He's actually, I know he rises 6 kilos, Mr. Mozart, but he's actually quite well off at the weights, which is, a lot of people don't take that into account. They just see the weight rise. But if you look at the handicap rating, it's actually the set weights and penalties suits him really well. I agree, he's a really hard horse to knock. He's probably the least favourite of my, or least confident of my lay arguments throughout the program here, Mr. Mozart. He ticks a lot of boxes. I don't have a really good grasp of this 3-year-old form. I don't know where they stack up, and I know the 3-year-olds, he's one of only a couple. We saw one last weekend at Caulfield. The 3-year-olds beat the older horses. Mr. Mozart's done that, but wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, Villana or Lock Eagle, the two up-and-coming horses, probably aren't as grounded as some of the others. They've still got plenty of upside. Lock Eagle started a really short price last start against Villana, and they fought out the finish there. It was a good gap to third. Green Belt comes off, Flying Crazy beat Green Belt in that Daybreak Lover at Eagle Farm. Firmer footing suits Flying Crazy. He's got plenty of ability. I can make cases for plenty others, and that's probably why I can't back Mr. Mozart with confidence at that price, but he is a hard horse to knock, so I'll leave that one alone. Couple more to go. Race 8, the Hawkesbury Crown. Brooks Spire here is favourite. Whitey, $4 on Betfair. You can lay Brooks Spire at $4.50. I'll let you go first here with Brooks Spire.
Interesting.
Come on, mate.
Luke, back. Luke, you're backing this. It's no chance. All right, let's have a look. Yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know. The more of a there's more of a lay argument than there is a back argument as you pull it across. But there's a couple of things we need to think about.
Why is she favourite? Come on.
Bray owns it.
Yeah. So you reckon that's why she's favourite?
It's probably not his fastest horse, although it's not a bad horse either. What positives can I add to make the backers more comfortable? Well, it trialled pretty well, where J-Mac rode, and he sticks here, I believe. It's first up at 1,300, but it's won first up before. Brings a very strong SP profile, which includes some few odds-on starts. She did go under at $1.40 a couple back, though. But what I did notice through her starts, like if she gets beat, she doesn't get beat far, which is good. She's normally pretty competitive. Gets a good map. I'm actually quite surprised, though, it's favourite. I think you'll get better on the day. I'm not touching that price for you or anyone, Tom. I don't want to back that price. At the opening quote, it's more of a lay than a back at these odds, but it is Chris Waller. It is J-Mac. If it wins and pays $4 or less, Waller's too good for me. That's
my biggest concern. I'm against her, and that's if there's money for her late, I'll be very, very nervous. But she's got form around Expat, who ties into Mirror Vision through that Group 1 Coolmore. I'm against Brooks Spire here. As you said, I can't see why she's favourite or at this price. I mean, she's got Blesk form in benchmark 78. Like Blesk's a dead set, good horse, but dead set midweeker. I know she was good in the Magic Millions Fillies and Mares race, but I really like Fashionelle here each way. Trialled the house down, really good horse. Comes off a really strong win last time and ended her prep in fantastic form. She's come back, she's trialled the house down. I think she's a great each-way play here. Barrier 2, she maps perfectly. She doesn't have to lead. Fashionelle on top for me. Can make a case of Mirror Vision at big price too. Mirror Vision ties in. Go back 2 back. Ran second in a Coolmore if you don't mind. Back onto the soft 7. A heavy 8 maybe. Depends on how much rain. I don't think that'll be an issue whatsoever. Maps well. Blinkers first time. Seems a big price, Mirror Vision. There's enough here. I can make cases for plenty. Jump the Broom looks a real setup race. Went from 1,200. We said might need further. Went back to 1,100 metres last start at Caulfield. Gets up to the 1,300 metres. That 1,100 metre run, I think, was a glorified barrier trial for this race. So if Jump the Broom comes across the border and runs here, it's a really nice setup. Wonderbar was good in a Group 2 3 weeks ago. Continues to race well. I can't get Brooks Spire anywhere near the current price, and she's a really good lay for me on the program. Let's get to the last race, Whitey. Let's do it. Art Cadeau is favourite. I'll let you go first here. Art Cadeau, you're against him.
Yeah, I've got the lay argument. It's an interesting and tricky race, I thought. As the market suggests, this is one of the crowd favourites, Art Cadeau, isn't it? You can't fault the camp's placement. It's always placed beautifully, targeted beautifully. When I first looked at it, I thought he ran into a hard race, but then again, that run home against our Playboy, it was super. When a bit unlucky. This one is all about price, though, for me, Tom, and who's in the field. So, as we say, we do our form on Wednesday evenings after odds come out to film or record on Thursdays, and Waller's got about 18 runners here. So it's hard to really have an opinion.
Of the 7, how many do you reckon will run?
Well, that's what I mean. So, like, I don't want to come out and say lay it at the moment, because I will say one thing: $4.80 fixed opened, $6.80 to $7.40 already on Betfair. I thought it was going to be a $7 to $8 chance. So at $4.80, I was keen to be against it.
Yep.
At the moment, until we see the final field on the day. There's quite a few horses that contest it here. It draws 14. It goes up to the mile for the first time ever. Map looks a little bit sticky. That's all enough for me not to be interested in backing this horse at this stage at all. I was against him at the opening price, but I can't say too much until I see the final field, who's in it, and what odds we're looking at.
It's a Group 3 over 1,600 metres, and you said it was a good field, but you go through the form. There's a lot of duck eggs, a lot of average runs. There's not many in form here, and he is one that is in form. He's savaged the line in his 2 runs. He was unlucky last start when he ran second. He sprinted home fantastically. He ran the fastest 200 of the race, 7th fastest 200 of the day, which is a great run. He's one of the only horses that's actually in form and hitting the line here. Third up, 1,600 metres suits him down to the ground. I can see why he's favourite. Up to the mile first time's a little query, but based on his 2 runs this time in, I see no reason why he can't get it here. He's drawn wide, but will get a come home with a big run at Hawkesbury, I would have thought, and can finish over the top of them. He's a deserved favourite in the last. And I can see why we run well. What is your best bet and best lay for the weekend, Whitey?
Best bet of the day. I'm actually going to go up to Queensland to the Victory Stakes. To be fair, we probably should have done a couple of these races, but
next week there's a few good races coming up.
We will get to Queensland, but I thought in the Victory Stakes, Rothfire was a good bet. 240, 250 it's opened up at the moment. I'd be interested to see what price we're going to get on the day. When comparing to Count de Rupi, who's not exactly in the greatest of form, second favourite, this horse on its day is a genuine freak, trialled like it's definitely back. And I think you're getting compensated at that price. I think this is a genuine Group 1 horse against some other horses who are first up, out of form, and just it's plain and simple. It's better than them.
Great to see him back.
Yeah, great to see him back after the long layoff and the injuries, etc. But the trials, do you watch the trial?
Haven't yet, no.
That's unlike you. And what's my best lay of the day? My best lay of the day... Oh, this is tricky. You've
scared. Gone soft here.
No, I haven't.
You've gone real soft.
What race is it in? What race is 11-11 in?
Hawkesbury. I'll get that up for you.
At Hawkesbury, I'm going to lay 11-11.
It's in the Gold Rush, race 6, number 1, 11-11.
So it's opened up around the $5 mark.
It's double the price of the favourite.
Yeah, but it's opened up about the $5 mark.
You've gone soft on me now.
This is all about,
pressure's getting to you.
It's all about price and liabilities and opinions, Tom. And my opinion is it should be $7, $8 first up with that weight against Malkovich. So I'm against it at the 5.50 mark, lay 11-11.
Yep, you mentioned Malkovich, one of my better bets in the program, race 6, number 2, Malkovich. Race 8, number 11, Fashionelle, my best each way on the program. Continues to firm throughout the week. She looks a mighty chance there. Race 8, number 11 on the back of 2 very good trials. I'm laying Morvada, race 8, number 3, and Brooks By's my other one, but I've changed my best lay to Morvada late in the piece. Precious on, non-winner. We'll see how we go. We're going for
You reckon
18.
I'm soft? Morvada's a bigger price than 11-11.
No, it's not.
It's drifting like a barge.
Well, as it should. It opened too short. I'm looking forward to Labour next week. You're going to be fired up again. Hopefully we do some races in Queensland. We'll be up at the Bull. It's a bit of a compromised show next week. We won't be in the studio, but we might be doing some stuff from Warrnambool. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how we go. But thank you for joining us. Any closing words, Whitey?
No. Bet well. Put some lay traps in. Change the way you bet.
If you see us at the Ball, come and ask us questions, whatever. We'll be back to do it all again soon on Layback with Betfair. Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.